Well, shalomi, homies. What's going on? How are y'all? How are ya all's families? How's everything with you guys? How's life? I'm hoping it is good. I hope you guys are having a good time. I hope there's not a lot of issues, and if there are, I'm praying that you guys are able to get through them and to fight through them and to value the battles. Lots and lots of battles all the time, especially if you're engaged in the firefight against the evil that is out there, especially if you're promoting the kingdom of Elohim. And so, as we are punching through these battles and as we are trying to get through these parts of life, the thing that always strengthens every issue, every problem, and then as well as every good day and every positive thing is the Torah. And we know from scriptures that for those who don't know, the Torah is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And it is a beautiful set of books that is relevant to the very fabric of time that we are in right now. In fact, there's nothing that is in these books that are not relevant to the time and specs and for the people they're in. A lot of people, when you first talk about the Torah and you mention this, the first thing that people have been programmed with is that, oh, you can't sacrifice these animals. What are you going to go do? Go kill some animals and get your sins taken away? And those are valid questions, because inside of the cult that most of us have come out of, those are things that have been programmed into us. And when you read these first 5 books in context and understand why people were sacrificing and why the instructions were that things were sacrificed and what the entire point of that was, and that was just to keep a people locally cling to having the power and the presence of our Creator in their presence. And so we don't need a priest system at this moment, because we ended up with the priest. We ended up with a qualified Torah-based, non-human style priest. And what I mean by that is all the priests that we had through the days of the Torah, they all had to atone for their sins. They all had issues. They all had things that they had to do prior to being able to atone for the sins for the people. And so that in of itself is an understanding that first, before our Creator, the presenter of the people, which is the priest, had to be clean, that he was absolved from the unclean thoughts or the problems he had, that he created a break in the Torah, and he had to get right in that avenue. And it required the blood as a sacrifice as that atonement. And then he would go on and he would help the people, offer the sacrifices for them, all of that same kind of stuff. Now, as we made it through scriptures and as we made it into the times of our Messiah, Yahushua, and there were no J's in Hebrew, there's no man named Jesus. As we made it through his time, they still had a priesthood. They were still offering sacrifices. They were still doing things of that nature, but it was corrupted. The priesthood was completely corrupted. They had gone astray. They were always going astray. They were always doing things outside of what they should have done. And when our Messiah came and walked the Torah perfectly, that qualified him as that perfect lamb. The absolute, non-blemished, perfect lamb, the only one that would have been qualified for a permanent style slaughtering that would be something that we could appease and have our sins atoned for. And so by him walking that Torah perfectly, he became the sacrifice side, and he also became the priest. He is now qualified that he doesn't have to go cling himself. He doesn't have to go stop what, the human priests had to do was stop their sin and atone for it. He doesn't have to do that. So now we have a perfect priest. We have a perfect way forward. And our priest, Messiah Yahushua, came in the name of his Father. And what that means is that he comes in the ways of his Father. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people have been programmed with this lie that this guy named Jesus has decided that his dad's ways and laws are zero value. And so he committed his life to die for the breaking of those, that those laws could be thrown in the trash. That is what I used to say. That is what I used to think. When you look in scriptures, that is the most blasphemous thing you could even come away with if you were in tune with all of what the scriptures say. We know that the first 5 books are good for all generations, for all times, for all peoples, for all races, creeds, languages. It is the way of our Creator. And if you want to get on his team, it doesn't matter if you're whatever race, whatever color. If you want to align yourself and your life to our Creator, then he has presented before us a way forward, and that is called the Torah. And when we keep this Torah, we then have a qualified priest who is not only just a priest, but he's also the leader of the kingdom to come. Our Messiah is so qualified, is so dignified, is so supreme in the things and the acts and the ways that he did it, and he walked it, and he perfected his dad's Torah to the T. To the T. As a human, he was able to take on the devil firsthand in ways that we probably have zero idea that there's even ways to be tempted. Our Messiah fought through the devil. You can guarantee the devil and all his minions and all these demons were always trying to take our Creator's Son. And it wasn't just peace and quiet. It wasn't just a go live. It wasn't a Gandhi. It was a life of war and a life of battles. And he is so qualified to be the ruler of the kingdom to come. There's nobody better. And so to get in alignment with that, to even be qualified for that, we need to know the Torah, understand the Torah, walk the Torah. And it needs to be part of our life. And when people ask us why we're wearing tzitzits, which we all should be wearing tzitzits, we would say, hey, you know what? We're Torah keepers. We're Bible believers. And if they're questioning more, oh, okay. What else? It's an open fishing road. When you wear tzitzits, you're absolutely opening the road to others asking you why you wear the tzitzits. And of course, you have to jump through the entire thing that you're not Jewish and all this, but it's all part of the Torah walk, guys. And so as we get into the reading today, which is our Messiah, which is that celebrity, which is the one who came and done it, and he done it good. He just blasted through the brick wall and conquered things that all of us have obviously failed in, which, our walk is a day-to-day repentance and understanding that we can always get better. Every single day that we have a blessing left to live, that our Creator has given us the air to breathe and the ability to praise him, we need to do that. We need to shout him out in prayer. We need to shout him out and be proud of him around in public. This is something that we need to herald the kingdom of Elohim in. We need to let others know that there's something more than this witchcraft, satanic-ridden cesspool of the world that we've inherited in these last days. It's just a mess. Guys, so Yah Scriptures still in print. This particular one is a limited edition. The next paperback versions are coming in. This has been probably I tell people it is the greatest English translation ever out there. It is absolutely that, without a shadow of a doubt. But it is also developed into something that has changed my life. There's no way my life is the same as it was before this entire project. Before we exposed the Hallelujah Scriptures, before we found out that they had been ripping prisoners off for 13 years, ripping the people of Yah off, just a criminal organization to the T, extorting all and wire frauding the money out to New Zealand. That was just the tip of the iceberg. That's where it began, and it's come all the way to where there is nearly a 7-pound Bible that is 3,153 pages, fully restored Apocrypha in it. And that is still yet the tip of the iceberg, because then it got to where we actually got these in print, and we were able to get to all these prisoners that we found boxes and letters and all of these things where the Hallelujah Scriptures had just, they filed it. They did not care about inmates. The inmates could write until their hands bled. And as one of the prisoners said in one of the letters that was in there, it's easier to get a pardon from Biden than it is to get a Hallelujah Scriptures Bible, which is extremely sad, because instead of embezzling all this money to New Zealand all these 13 years, they could have really created a huge printing press that would have, it would have been amazing. Every cell could have had a Bible. It could have been the Gideons for prisoners, right? You literally had a prison, a way to print Bibles in mass for very, very cheap. And yet, instead of really, truly taking care of those you promise people, then you don't. So as we got into that, and again, we're still at the tip of the iceberg, because now I have been and had the opportunity to hang out with all of these prisoners now for coming on like 2 years. The lives and the stories and the people that I've encountered, it's one of a kind. And that's why we have another channel called Behind the Bars. And if you guys have not seen that yet, I'm doing interviews with guys that have been on death row for 27 years. These guys all have this big blue book in front of them. They're not all Torah keepers, right? I've only had success at like 4 or 5 people inside of death row out of a gazillion that I keep in contact with. And I'm always, if you can ask any single one of these prisoners, what is Jason Boss's theme? What is he here for? They will tell you, I'm here in the name of our Creator, giving them Torah commands and trying to get them on the right path. And I'm always, at the end of every email, I'm always dropping Torah commands in. I'm always encouraging these guys to read their scriptures. And so as these stories have all come out and I've been introduced to all these guys and I learn and meet these guys, it's one of these things that these guys are in for very heinous crimes. Some, I'm convinced, are absolutely, without a shadow of doubt, guilty, and they say they're completely guilty. Some are begging and pleading and saying this did not happen. And you look at the cases and you look at what's there, and it's not solid. I mean, you had a guy like 25 plus years ago in a all-white jury in Texas, and the prosecutor gets up on the stage and tells this jury that this guy sexually assaulted a woman, and then they toss it out. They go, oh, that's not evidence. And so the guy tells all these jurors, he's like, oh, strike that. You cannot use that in the prosecution. But he had graphically described something that did not happen. And now, 25 years some later, there's proof that's coming out that they had rape kit swabs done, and there nothing came up, and all this stuff. They had all this stuff they did not present. Finally, this guy's getting a hold of some of this stuff, and it's not exactly what people think. And so we're able to reach deep, deep, deep into this darkness, into these guys that are, it's just a different world, guys. It is a very different world, and it is because you guys out there are buying these scriptures for yourselves that we have been enabled to do this. Because Yah Scriptures we have no employees. We do everything internally, right? Nicole does all this and that, and I do whatever I need to do. We all have a little piece in it, but it's not a paid employee. Zero cash will ever go from Yah Scriptures into Boss Clan. This is and will always be a self-funded prison scriptures, and the whole goal that we had to begin with was to attempt to come up with a way that we can truly print scriptures for free and give people a huge value in what they're seeing. And this book right here, the Hallelujah Scriptures, they criminally grift the people for over $400 for this, along with some sort of donation scam along the way for that as well. And it is lesser books, lesser quality, and they still have the original Hallelujah Scriptures errors. And guys, I will tell you, as an avid reader of putting these books together, there were thousands of little itty-bitty tiny errors throughout all of these scriptures. Because they had stolen their original work, they did not proofread it, they did not give any care to it, they did not fix scriptures that they stole that the guy's main language wasn't even English. And so it came from kind of a South African ease to the Hallelujah Scriptures. And then because of the actions of the Hallelujah Scriptures, I had no other choice but to fight them using the same tactics as they used. But this time, we're going after the prisoners for real. And this time, we're going to fix these and make Yah's word a beautiful thing, which is what we did. And so, guys, Yah Scriptures is available still. I went off in the weeds. I'm so sorry. But this is important stuff. So I'm sure by now, those who watch this and don't want to hear that stuff, you guys know how to fast forward into this part right here. And this is the walking of our Messiah as he's walking among the people, as he's giving them advice. Some of the stuff is harder to understand. We ran into a section last time that I couldn't figure out. Nobody put any comments on this, so either nobody made it through that far or nobody had any idea either, because I had no valid comments on that. So let's get into this. This is our Messiah. The reign of the Shammai, the reign of heaven, is like a sovereign giving a wedding feast, who moving about among his guests notices a man without a wedding garment. The sovereign says to him, "My friend, why did you come here attired like this, when it makes you completely out of place?" The man can make no answer. So the sovereign calls his servants and says, "Turn him out, for he does not fit in here." Let all men be just and merciful towards one another. I think it just split into it. Let's talk about this very first part, right? The entire premise of 45, the verse right here, is that the reign of the Shammai is like a sovereign giving a wedding feast. How do we relate this to the world that we are in right now? Well, our sovereign is our creator, right? We have Yahuwah. People call him God. They're Yahweh, Yahuwah, Yahweh. The Jews won't even say it. They go like, or something like that. They actually say like something like that, and that's how they will say it, but they won't actually say the name of our creator. And it says in scriptures we're supposed to talk about him and know about him. But this is our creator that is offering all of us a wedding feast. That's great news, because the creator of the universe knows everything. He has the good things of life. He has given us a beautiful world to which we can walk these lands. Everything is amazing, and so we are invited to a wedding feast. Who's the bride? Well, our Messiah is the bride. If we are willing to follow under the leadership of our Creator, under the leadership of His Son, then we are qualified people for the kingdom to be. How do we become qualified? Is it a decision that we will make the moment we get there and go, you know what, I think I'm going to keep commandments? No. It is an obedience lifestyle right now, walking Torah, that if we are loyal to our Creator in this day and age, in this moment in time, then we are looking to the promises that our Creator will not forget us, that we will be taken to a better place. And even if this was all a figment of imagination that the storyteller, and this is what people tell you, they're like, oh, it's all a bunch of story books written by the Jews. That is so untrue, because the Jews keep their own set of books, and it is not the Torah. They have 200 some other books that are Talmudic, that are Babylonian mysticism, Zohar, Kabbalah stuff, right? Black magic. It's all that kind of stuff. That's the stuff we're all told to stay away from, right? Deuteronomy 4:2 says, don't add to and don't take away. So we have a set of, we've been invited to a wedding feast. Where's our clothes? What is our clothes? Well, we are told in Deuteronomy 6 that we need to basically embrace and take the entire Torah into every last facet of our existence. In the bottom line, it would be that we would take the Torah and we'd drape it over our backs. We would use it as blinders in front of our eyes, as a filter between us and the rest of the world. It is a set of armor. It is a set of tools that we have. It is our shoes. It is what we walk with and walk on. We do not walk on a normal path without walking through the land of the Torah. The Torah is our instruction manual. The Torah is what will clothe us to a kingdom outside of this world. A better world, a world that the demons and devils, they want this other world. They want darkness. They want all this crap that they have all right now. And we don't want it. We want a different world. We see how evil that is. We see how crooked that side is. And we want to be attired. So if we have been invited to a wedding and we are not wearing the clothes of obedience, the clothes of loyalty, the clothes of all this, then we're out of place. And we're going to be told to depart from our Messiah according to Matthew 7. Continuing on, Messiah says this, "Let all men be just and merciful towards one another, for all those who will not be overlooked in the life to come. For all who will not be overlooked in life to come." Okay, that's the big stuff, right? So we're looking for truth in the words of our Messiah, and this is a quality that it sounds like is a good quality, being just and merciful towards one another. That goes down the same line as loving our neighbor as ourselves. Having that eternal and external love for those all around us. And so if we are just and merciful towards those, good things will be take notice, right? The entire walk that we walk, from the moment we get up, with the things that we do and the things that we don't do, are and will be recorded in the books of the Shamaim. It will be replayed back. And I tell my kids this all the time. I say, you guys are browbeating your brothers, the things you are saying, the things you do to cause chaos and ruckus. You're going to be very embarrassed. It's all going to be replayed back to you guys. You guys are going to have me sitting here being replayed back, saying this is going to be replayed back, and it's just going to sound like a broken record. So here we are. Let's make sure that we are acting just and merciful towards everybody, that we're learning more compassion. We're learning to love our neighbor as ourselves. Continuing on. But those who act otherwise shall surely suffer. Okay, otherwise. So if those who are not just and those who are not merciful are going to suffer. So sounds like the best course of action is being just and merciful. Those who pander to people in high places, or who distort the Torah of Yahuwah to suit their own ends, or twist them to serve unintended purposes, shall not be overlooked at the accounting. Very interesting stuff right here. Very, very interesting stuff. I see this, there's a tremendous amount of Torah groups, and there's a lot of those who charge for stuff. They won't give you the information unless you're willing to pay. Or you get filled in on the extracurricular stuff if you're willing to pay. I understand people need to pay their bills, but I find that in the Torah-based community, that everybody's extorting everybody. And it's just, it's rough. And I've always been fighting against it, especially these greedy Bible vendors, those who have taken the word of our Creator and are visibly, obviously making their life far more enhanced based upon this, while the promises of what the fruit should be have fallen long into the dead orchard. The trees are dead. There's nothing left. So we just know this. And so, guys, we all need to make sure that this is Messiah's talking about, right? Pandering to people in high places. Just because somebody's a celebrity, just because somebody is somebody, don't twist whatever you do in life to suit to these people. Also, distorting the Torah of Yahuwah, right? Whatever we do not do this. We do not take the words of Elohim and twist them, which is why it's very important that we know the words of Elohim, that we are keeping with them, that we have written them on our heart, mind, and soul. Very, very important. Continue on. There are those who interpret the Torah narrowly, so that while not taking the clothes from the widow's back, they will take her house and milk cow and drive the fatherless children from their home. Okay, this isn't one big thing, right? So those who interpret the Torah so narrowly, that here's the crime. Taking the clothes from the widow's back, but this person's not taking their clothes, but he's willing to take the house, the milk cow, and drive the fatherless children from their home. That's a crime in the eyes of our Creator, right? There's a lot of things to be thought about on this entire thing, and there's a we're not supposed to be from those who are Torah based or brothers and sisters. We're not supposed to collect interest from those. We're not supposed to profit off of others' miseries or encounters or problems of this thing. But this is one of these bankster things, or one of these things that, when we run into a situation like this, that we just get smoked or taken or something, and we think it is what it is. A lot of times it's a necessity for us to get taken, if that makes sense. A lot of times that people that don't repay their stuff, they can't repay it, and a lot of times it's easier just to let it go. A long time ago, we had a gal like years and years and years ago that she smoted us for like $800 and never brought it back, and I had forgotten all about it. And we mentioned it the other day. One of my kids, and he's like, "Oh, if we run into her, we should get that." I'm like, dude, that was so long ago. That had something to do with her. So I had something to do with her daughter. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but that's water under the bridge, right? That's come and gone. And when we run into them, it's just big greetings. How are you? Much love to you. Hopefully, life is going better than the days when they had to come and borrow money, because nobody wants to be in those situations. And people that are borrowing money don't want to be borrowing money. It's not something that any of us want to do, but it happens. So continuing on, 48. The Kodesh books of the Yahudim say that an eye shall be taken for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But the words of the Torah must be interpreted with justice. Huge stuff right here, right? Huge, huge stuff. And one of the things is, a lot of people don't know what the Kodesh books are. And Messiah says the Kodesh books of the Yahudim, which are, he's putting it down to still one organization of the Jews. And in these days, it was basically 10 of the tribes were in exile, right? They were across the Euphrates. They were all scattered out. And so it really was the Yahudim of that day. But it's the Kodesh books of all of the Torah, right? We're not all Yahudim, right? We are all, there's 12 tribes. And the Jews, the Yahudim, are one of 12 tribes. And I don't think any of us are ever going to know what tribe we're in until it's long, to the point where we are actually in the club, in the clique, in the main clique, and that's not going to be for disobedient people. It's going to be for people that are willing to live their life under the law, statutes, and commandments of our Creator's great words and knowledge. And so this is a big thing right here, right? Because we do have Torah commands that say an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But this is where the Torah is being made flesh right here. This is where we get a better understanding of what did this really mean. How does our Creator want us to actually deal with these matters? And how is our Messiah going to be for a judge in the kingdom to come? What's his qualities? Well, this is pretty amazing, because it's a big deal, right? There's a lot of things where you could knock a person's tooth out. Here's an example. It was, where was it? 4th or 5th grade? 5th grade maybe. And public school. And I picked up this little itty bitty tiny, we were sitting around a circle, like 4 or 5 of my friends. And I threw this little itty bitty tiny pebble over my friend Jonathan off. And it literally chipped this chunk out of his tooth. The little tiny rock. I couldn't believe it. My stepdad was so mad. It was a bad deal. I got to pay for his new tooth. It wasn't a new tooth, but he got fixed up and stuff like this. But I get to go home. My parents are like, "What are you chucking, like bricks or something at this kid?" And it was like the smallest rock. Now, in that interpretation of the Torah, I would lose my tooth, right? A tooth for a tooth. But where the justice comes in, I'm just a dumb kid sitting around yik-yakking with my friends, and I did something very innocent and I knocked a tooth out. So inside of that particular moment, the right justice would be to let the kid pay for it, and let the dad beat the kid, right? For something stupid. And I didn't get beat by my stepdad, but it was not a good look. Definitely not a good look. You go home and knock a kid's tooth out. And I'm telling you guys, it was a pebble. It was not, I wasn't even aiming for his tooth. I was just kind of throwing a rock. Okay, so continuing on. For if an eye be taken out from he who put out another's, or a tooth from someone who has knocked out the tooth of another, is the loss made good in this manner? Is it? right? We all, the only thing it's going to do for us is make somebody potentially feel better or feel like they got justice or feel something of that manner, right? But is it good? You both have teeth out, right? It was probably better that I paid the $250 or whatever it was back in the day, and then worked the summer to pay my stepdad off, paying back that tooth bill. Right, that was the best thing. Or would it be better if I was just toothless all the time for my sin? To say, you know what, as a child, I tossed a rock like an idiot, and here I am. Okay, continuing on. Or if a one-eyed man causes him with two eyes to lose one, shall he be made blind and so suffer a greater loss? Lots of things to consider, right? Is the retribution that we are okay doing, does it serve a purpose? Is it going to fix anything? Or is it going to just create more damage from the damage it was already done? A lot of things to consider. Look how smart our Messiah is. Look how wise this stuff that he says is right here. This is hardcore. Continuing on. Or if a man with two eyes cause a man with one eye to be made blind, shall he lose both? Yeah, right? So some guy with one eye jacks something up accidentally. Do we take this guy's vision completely away? No. This is good stuff, right? This is why we want to be in this kingdom. This is why we want to hang out with our Messiah. This is good stuff. All right, 49. Henceforth, let the loss be made good in silver or through labor. For now the law of revenge shall be overruled by the law of retribution. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, right? This is the stuff, this is the Torah made flesh, right? We can figure this out, and I'm sure people have figured this out that, hey, you know what? Yeah, we can knock this dude's tooth out, but if this guy's willing to pay for his damages and my discontent, then let this guy do it. And that's the rule of recompense. This is why we need our Messiah. He will bring all of us together. He's going to fix all of our calendars. And hopefully we can have all these giant kumbaya moments among all these Torah keepers of people who want to literally cut your throat because you can't find the 13th month, because you can't find what they are looking at in scriptures, and you have looked to a different system that you believe with all you have that is the better system or the right system. And until the further evidence comes, here we are, right? So let's just be good inside of Torah. Continuing on, or do I need to? 32. It's okay. I think 50 is it. Okay, here we are. Let's see. I think I'm at the middle of this. All these things. Okay, all these things I give you in the middle of 49. All these things I give you that they may be established and added to the Torah, so that henceforth they may be used in judgments among the just. This is probably something that will tear somebody out, because we do have a commandment that says do not add and do not take away from the Torah. But we've never had the Son of the Most High, who understands his dad far better than any single one of us ever will or ever could. That's the bottom line. He already had these personal relationships with his pops somewhere else in some other realm with something else is happening out there, and he knows his dad very well. Whatever his dad is now to us is the same as his dad was to him. And so as Messiah comes saying that, listen, it's still established. He's not, number one, he's not saying an eye for an eye and a tooth for tooth is gone. But he's saying, let's make sure that we're doing this with love, compassion, understanding, that we're not making the situation worse. Whatever happened to us or the situation, it's terrible. It is not good at all. But what makes it better? Right? Getting things fixed, and I'm sorry, an apology. Sometimes that is the biggest healer of all. Sometimes from the heart, I am sorry. I did not mean this to happen, is a very good way to start. And so, very, very important. As Messiah tells us this stuff, right? If there was a conflict with the Torah, we would see it. We all know the Torah. For those of us who do know the Torah very, very well and know an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth exists, but we also know that we need to love our neighbor. We also need to take care of those who are unfortunate, who are broken. Our Messiah speaks to a time when people didn't take care of him. When he was in prison, nobody loved him. Nobody took care of him. He was sick. Nobody came. His disciples were like, Master, when did this happen? And Messiah very clearly made a point that whatever we don't do to those who are in need is what we could potentially, if we did, do to him. That what we do to the unfortunate, broken, the people that are destitute, then we're doing it for the kingdom, we're doing it for the walk of the kingdom. Because as you can see from these words, our Messiah is very fair and very just. Look at the law system of the North America. Look at all the laws. Who wants to be under the laws of North America? It's jaywalking, right? You could have a angry police guy, and you could be simply walking across the road in your land of the free and the home of the brave, and you could get arrested. It's that easy. So we have a set of laws, rules, and regulations that we have in the first 5 books of scriptures. These are all very, very good, right? This is a great governing law system I am glad to be under because we hear things just like this. So let's finish this up. 50. I think we had it, right? Yep. Okay. I come to open the blind eyes of ignorance, to rescue the captives confined in dungeons of delusion, and to free men from the shackles of the flesh. Whoa. Huge, huge things, right? This is our Messiah. This is the walking Torah. This is the one to listen to. This is the man, as they say, right? This is the big guy. He's talking about what he's here for, right? Blind eyes of ignorance. We all want to be blind of ignorance, right? We all need to pray for wisdom. We all need to pray that our Creator keeps our eyes open, that we don't get trapped into Satan's ways. Rescuing the captives confined in the dungeons of delusion. You know, there's a lot of, people have used our Messiah's words, and then they add these sick translators, these demonic translators will put parentheses inside of their scriptures, and they will say things like, all food has been made clean. And you have an entire chapter that has 150 billion% to do with washing your hands. But yet what people walk away from is like 5 letters of blasphemy that they don't understand that Leviticus 11 does not have us eating pig as food. If you want to say all food has been made clean, great. Make sure you're following the Leviticus 11 dietary guidelines because that's what food is. Pig is not food. Lobster is not food. Catfish isn't food. Horses aren't food. Things like that, right? We have a way. So he's also here to free men from the shackles of the flesh. Huge thing right there, right? We're always on this channel. I'm always telling brothers and sisters, encouraging you all to stay away from the pornography, stay away from the shackles of the flesh. And how I see so many people get and lose relationships and lose the spark in the marriage is by simply looking over the hedge. It takes one time that you sit and observe some unclothed person, male or female, that you are potentially committing adultery. It's that important that we cling to our people. And our people are our spouses. Our people are our family. Our people are those who are around us. And the shackles of the flesh destroy relationships, they destroy reality, and they destroy all sorts of things. And it is of utmost importance that we cleanse our hearts, minds, and souls of that evil, of whatever it is, these midnight sneak-offs into the closet or into the bathroom or whatever it is, wherever it is, that we stop the opportunity and we stop whatever it is that we're doing. It doesn't need to be done. And we're only making ourselves more adulterers and literally making our wives and spouses or vice versa adulterers. So guys, we got to clean up. Okay? The shackles of the flesh are things such as that, but there's a lot more than that, right? Overeating is shackles of the flesh. I fall into that one. All these things. We need to get ourselves clean, keep our temples ready, established, and our oils in our lamps. Last part. I come to quicken the dead in Ruach, to heal the wounds of worldly woes, and to comfort the despairing. And indeed, he did do that, and he does do that. Because my spirit is absolutely quickened when I get the hopes and dreams of the kingdom to come, when I get the hopes and dreams, as I see this world wasting away, as I see the darkness overtaking the lands, the people openly serving Satan, it's refreshing to be under a set of guidelines. Oh, I don't think I finished that point. That even if our Creator was completely fictional, if you look at the first 5 books of Scriptures, they are absolutely phenomenal and would never lead you astray. In your life, everything will be better. You'll work better, talk better, think better, have better everything, because they're really, it's all good advice. It's all good knowledge. And so, guys, our Messiah is going to heal the worldly woes, right? A lot of us are in these worldly woes. A lot of us are in despair. A lot of us fight day in and day out to keep our sanity. And it's always going to be a fight, right? Especially if you're a Torah keeper. So, guys, keep your heads up. Keep sharp in the Word. Keep reading your Scriptures. Much love to y'all. Until I can get back with y'all, I'm out.